Hello and welcome to the 5-Hour Real Estate Week.
You're listening to 5-Hour Real Estate Week, where you'll learn to consistently buy real estate in only 5 hours a week. So if you're ready to invest in real estate, achieve financial freedom, and own the lifestyle you deserve, even with your job, this is the show for you. Now, here's your host, Mike Butler.
My name's Mike Butler, and I created this podcast for you. If you're wanting to get into real estate but feel limited by your job, there's no other podcast out there that serves folks who are working and have very little time to devote to real estate investing. Just imagine what your life would be like if you had 20 nice rentals paid for and do it safely in 3 to 5 years, regardless of a job. Okay, so if you've been looking for a show that helps you gain true financial independence with minimal risk and do it in just 5 hours a week or less, then you've come to the right place. And on this podcast, you're going to get the training to learn how to use the exact same system that I used when I got started. It works. Now, other podcasts have this advice about just quitting your job before you've even done your first deal. They don't have a clue. I've got to be straight with you. It really ticks me off when these self-proclaimed gurus try and tell you to jump into real estate full-time. Crazy. In fact, just a few years ago, one of my local self-proclaimed gurus, who grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, he was getting paid to put on a Saturday workshop, and at 9:30 the night before the workshop, he canceled the workshop because only 9 people signed up, and he said it wasn't worth his time. Well, he did give a flying rat's kahuna about any of the sacrifices that these folks might have made to attend the workshop. Absolutely no remorse or feelings if they had to get a babysitter, rearrange their work schedule on their job, maybe miss their kids' ball games, to name a few, in addition to the cost of the daggone workshop. He just blew them off like they're not important. This is so wrong, and that really pissed me off. I'm never going to tell you to quit your job until your real estate makes at least double your income. It's got to be double in today's world because of health insurance. Hell, I didn't quit my job until my real estate was making 8 times my police salary, and I was still scared. You've got to be conservative if you want to be successful. Okay, so odds are, if you're like me when I got started, you have no safety net, security blanket, or a rich sugar daddy, to bail you out when you get in a cash crunch, let alone the stress and worry about how you're going to take care of all your living expenses if you quit your job. So it's okay to have a job. In fact, I encourage it. And I'm not going to skip out on you. You've made a commitment to listen to this podcast so you can achieve the lifestyle you dream about. And I've made a commitment to you to show up 3 days a week with the content you need to make it happen for you. Here's my promise to you. As you listen to this podcast, you're going to get the system that I perfected and use, and investors I work with use. It's a tried and proven system that works for everyone, especially if you have a job. And by the way, I've worked with over 1,200 investors, 1,274 to be exact. And these investors have taken this system that I share on this podcast, and they've achieved true financial independence. And most of them started out doing it in 5 hours a week while working their job. And this number of self-made millionaires keeps growing by about 4 investors each and every month. And you, that's right, you can be here too. So in summary, my passion is to help investors like you who are in the same pickle as I was when I got started. This system does get results for you. What kind of results? This part-time system gives you results that blow the doors off the results of most full-time investors. That's what I did, and that's what these other investors are doing too. So with everything going on in your life, you got relationships, kids, church, job, whatever else you got going on, you barely have 5 hours a week to devote to your real estate investing. The goal of this podcast is to help you get your 20 nice rental houses paid for. Do it safely in 3 to 5 years, even with your job, all in 5 hours a week or less. So on this podcast, you're going to get regularly published content that you need, like our Market Monday, our Winter Wednesday, and our Saturday systems. So Market Mondays, for example, That's going to show you how to keep current on your local market and real estate trends. You need to know this stuff before you make your big decision, pull the trigger, and start investing. Winter Wednesdays, you're going to love this because you're going to get to listen in on interviews of these self-made millionaires using this system 5 hours a week while they work their full-time job. This system works, guys. Okay, and they're going to share with you what worked for them, what didn't, shortcuts. You're going to love it. System Saturday gives you your must-have system and resources to save your precious and valuable time while turbocharging your results. Just remember, in today's super fast-changing technology world, there's a boatload of free resources to save you even more time while increasing your profits, your income, and your results. These weren't available back when I got started. You have these at your fingertips in today's world. So check this out. My system explains in simple step-by-step instructions how 41% of my deals come from follow-up. That's right, 41% from follow-up. That's almost half of the deals from an effective, efficient follow-up system. So here's one example on one of those deals. This was before the internet. This was before the email. And yes, it was a few years ago. I'm sorry. But my family were on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and this cruise ship is docked in a port at Barbados. I always get up earlier than everyone else so I can go up to the top deck, drink my coffee, check my voicemail with my man purse. You know, the old Franklin Covey daytimers. I had to do this because my wife really didn't want to see me working while we were on a cruise. So here's what happens. So I'm sitting up there drinking my coffee, checking my voicemail, and I had a lady on my voicemail that I had met almost a year ago. And she wanted to sell her house to me. I went and looked at it. We talked about it. I know she wanted to stay there and rent it. We couldn't put a deal together then, but I kept all that information, including my offers. And guess what? Now she calls me up, leaves me a voice message, says, "Hey, Mike, I'm ready to sell my house." So I've retrieved, in 20 seconds, I've retrieved all that information on my simple, proven follow-up system. I called her up. We talked about it. And to make a long story short, she was ready to sell. She wanted to stay there. We agreed on a rent price. And we called my attorney, did a 3-way call to my attorney, scheduled the closing. As soon as I hung up there, now I called my banker and I said, my attorney's going to be calling you with a dollar amount to take down to to buy this house at a closing. And my attorney has my power of attorney. And so here's what happened. The next day it closed. I bought this house while I'm sitting in a bar on a beach watching my girls having a blast. Now, isn't that a great follow-up system? And I had a job. That was while I had my job. Isn't that cool? So after listening to this podcast, you're going to want to share it with all of your fellow investors and folks who want to invest in real estate with minimal risk, even with next to no cash or credit. And for your information, FYI, I've never gone to a bank to buy an investment property, and I started out with less than $1,000 in my police officer's credit union. That's true. So keep tuning in 3 days a week, and you'll quickly and confidently find yourself with those 20 nice rentals paid for in the next 3 to 5 years, and do it in less than 5 hours a week. To your continued success, get on board. Mike Butler, adios.